presenting the official Gumu Gumu no Mi gummy candy. Really chewy, which, oh my god, that is really, really chewy. That was intentional. Oh my god. I don't know if I'm gonna be able. Alright. So while I'm chewing this piece of molasses in my mouth right now, how are you guys doing? Now, to be honest, a fan sent me these. These have been sitting out in my reviewing room, and it gets pretty cold out there, especially in the winter, so maybe that's the reason, but we're like halfway there. Okay, so, oh! I got some new posters in the background. We can talk about that while I eat this. Okay. So, I swapped out Zenyatta for Joker. And we also got Senku rocking back here. They're all new posters, though. I'll throw up some pictures so you can see all of them. Like, we got a Hollow Knight one. And there's Bakugo riding a dragon. Then we got Senku. Then we got a Mob Psycho and One Punch Man one. And then we got Giorno Giordano from JoJo Golden Wind. I think we're good. Alright. Final stretch here. Alright, good. Alright. I mean, hey, that basically does, you know, simulate what I imagine Luffy would taste like. Like, extraordinarily chewy, okay? Like when Wapple went to go, you know, eat Luffy, and he's like, oh, it's really chewy. That's about right. Okay. So today, we're going to talk about Devil Fruit Renewal, or Devil Fruit Reincarnation, the rebirth of the Devil Fruit. That's probably what I'll throw up in the thumbnail, okay? So anyway, yeah, in the last chapter of One Piece, we got to see the former user of the Barrier Fruit, which would of course be Kurozumi Semimaru. And then a couple chapters ago, we also got the former user of the Mane Mane no Mi, or the Clone Fruit, which is currently used by Mr2 Bonclay. Back then, it was used by Kurozumi Higurashi. Now, I think this is a good time as any to talk about reincarnation of Devil Fruits. I could have sworn that I made a video about that years ago, but no, I've made a lot of videos about Devil Fruits. We talked about the origin of Devil Fruits, we talked about eating two fruits at once, we talked about eating the same fruit, we talked about weakest fruits, we talked about the weirdest fruits, we talked about mermaid boobs, we talked about the Marimara no Mi, but we haven't really talked about how fruits are reincarnated yet as like the main topic for a video. And I've mentioned it before, but there are some new things at play here that I want to address, okay? So let's go into that. So first off, the basic diagram is like this. We got this during the Dressrosa arc, and it wasn't even like a major character that revealed this. It was actually one of, remember who it was? It was, you know, random underling of the Doflamingo family. You know, one of those idiots that Doflamingo made wear the stupid masks running around the town. Luffy and Frankie basically corner that guy, beat the crap out of him in an alleyway, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll tell you what happened. So he reveals this diagram, okay? Basically how it goes is, you got a devil fruit. You know, pretty cool, very distinctive fruit. It's got the swirl patterns and all that. Somebody eats the fruit. Tastes like crap, but then you get the power, and then you're a fruit user, and the same basic rules apply to pretty much all of them. You know, you can't swim, all that crap. Sea Prism Stone hurts you. You know, you get some kind of power. Paramecia, Zone, Logia, awesome. Eventually, when you die, the fruit then returns back to circulation, and, you know, the cycle continues. The key here is that one part right there. When it goes from the dead corpse of, that's redundant statement, redundant. It goes from the corpse of the former user into a new fruit. All right, that's the thing that we need to focus on here, okay? And that's the thing that you can have a few different schools of thought into how this actually worked. Fun fact, I don't know if you know this, but devil fruits, in fact, have a small pinball inside of them. Yep, it's like a can of spray paint, basically, yeah. So anyway, here's how this goes. During Punk Hazard, the only time in the entire story we actually saw this happen, like, real time, right? We actually got to see a Devil Fruit user die, and then we actually got to see the reincarnation process of the fruit. It was Caesar's pet Smiley, who had the Salasalonomi, or the Salamander Fruit model Axolotl, which are adorable. I mean, look at these things! Oh my god! Either that or a hedgehog. I want one of those things as a pet. Also, what are those things from Australia called? Sugar gliders. I want me a sugar glider. So, sugar glider, hedgehog, axolotl. I want one of those things so I can just have it and just look at it because it's adorable. Okay, so that thing exploded because Caesar's a dick. You know, he's like, oh, my beloved pet Smiley. Basically, what Caesar did was he took a giant glob of goo and then fed it the salamander fruit, and then it became a sentient giant salamander glob of goo, and then he basically added that, it combined with Shirokuni, or he combined it with that candy to make Shirokuni, and then it just detonated, which the Shirokuni glass cloud then spread throughout all of Punk Hazard, which then of course resulted in the petrification, but also resulted in the death of Smiley. So that kind of sucks, right? But we got to see, off to the side, we got to see some underlings of Caesar that just happened to be in the area. They brought a sled with them, and on the sled there was like food provisions that they brought, and there was basically a sack of apples, okay? Red apples, which are the worst apple. I mean, yellow delicious all the way, 100%. But they had some apples with them, okay? So when Smiley exploded, one of those apples transformed into a devil fruit. And we actually got to see that happen. We got to see it turn, and like it shook a little bit, and then the swirls began to emerge, and then boom, new devil fruit. The salamander fruit axolotl has been revived. However, it didn't last particularly long because the giant aforementioned cloud of petrification, you know, mist just swept through the entire island, and I'm assuming the fruit is still there on Punk Hazard in the middle of the Arctic tundra, encased in the petrification. It was revealed later the petrification could be undone. It wasn't like a permanent thing. Even the people that were trapped in that gas could still be revived. So yeah, I mean, if somebody has a lot of time on their hands and, like me, really, really, really likes axolotls, they could just go to Punk Hazard and sift through the, you know, hundreds of square miles of Arctic tundra, which with a top layer of petrification goo on it, and they can crack that crap open, and then they, oh yeah, we found it. So it's still on Punk Hazard, right? So we got to see that go down, right? There was another school of thought, though, where it wasn't just the nearest fruit that gets reincarnated, because that's what it seemed to imply, right? It's like whenever a devil fruit explodes, whenever the devil fruit, I mean, not necessarily explode, but whenever, that can happen, but it's like whenever a devil fruit user dies, the nearest fruit, regardless of what it is, the devil fruit powers go into that fruit and it transforms into it, okay? And because, you know, Punk Hazard was this giant Arctic wasteland, where at least half of it was, there weren't really a lot of fruits around to select from, so that's why that little, like, food provision sack was the nearest thing, right? So that's one idea. But then you also have the other idea that it's not any kind of fruit, it's only very specific fruit. Because there's a devil fruit encyclopedia that exists in the One Piece world, okay? And in that devil fruit encyclopedia, there are pictures and descriptions of not just the actual fruit, but also the abilities that it gives you and the category of a couple of devil fruits. There's not like every single devil fruit in existence is in the book, obviously, but a good chunk of them are. So let's say, for example, Buggy's Bara Bara no Mi. Buggy's Bara Bara no Mi looked like a pineapple when he had it and he ate it, all right? So does that mean that when Buggy dies, the Bara Bara, I know that'll never happen, but will the Bara Bara no Mi have to find another pineapple to inhabit? So if Buggy dies next to a lime stall, then the fruit won't go into the lime, because that's not the right kind of fruit. Limes are fruit, right? Yeah, they're the fruits. What am I thinking? Yeah, they're not vegetables. Limes are fruit. Here's some information you learn from Tekking. But no, they wouldn't go into the limes. They would have to go to the nearest pineapple, which might be on the other side of the island, might be on a completely different island, okay? So that's one school of thought there, because if the fruit looks different every time it reincarnates, then how would you know that that's the Bara Bara no Mi? How could it be cataloged if, let's say, for example, you know, the Bara Bara no Mi was originally a pineapple, Buggy eats it, then it gets reincarnated into an apple and it looks different? How would you know that's the Bara Bara no Mi when you eat it? So that's an issue there. However, granted, we only know about devil fruits from just reading the manga, right? The people that have lived in the One Piece world that are in that universe, especially if you've been living on the Grand Line, they know way more about devil fruits. Like, it might be something like the number of swirls that are on the fruit, the color of the fruit itself, the direction the swirls go, the number of swirls. It'd be like, this fruit has exactly 17 swirls on it, it is the Opi Opi no Mi, because the Opi Opi no Mi always has this number of swirls, okay? So that's something there. Or because we only got to see it reincarnate a single time. Now, there have been other fruits that have got back into circulation, like Ace's Maramara no Mi. But the only one that we actually got to see the process of turning a regular fruit into a devil fruit was the one on Punk Hazard. So, it's entirely possible that the axolotl fruit really does just always look like an apple. Okay, and there just happened to be an apple nearby, and it doesn't matter. Like, okay, put this in another perspective. Let's say they didn't bring a bag of apples around for the provisions. Let's say they brought a bag of pears, all right? And so, when Smiley died, he exploded, the devil fruit would have traveled into a pear, and the pear would have been transformed into this. Like, it would have looked like this no matter what the fruit was. It just happened to be that the apples were just similar in appearance, right? If this was a pineapple, it would have just transformed into this purple apple-looking thing with the swirls, right? So it's possible that that could be the case. Because, I'll be honest with you, a lot of devil fruits look very similar in the sense of, like, they're purple. Like, look at the Yami Yami no Mi, look at the Gamu Gamu no Mi. Yeah, they're very clearly different, but they're both purple. They both have, like, the swirls and everything, so it's not like they're crazy distinguished, okay? They're very clearly different fruits, but then we get to fruits like the Opi Opi no Mi. The Opi Opi no Mi has a very, very distinguished look. It's a heart. It's a red heart, okay? So, like, I don't know if a fruit like this exists in nature, but you'd figure that when Law dies, God forbid, when Law dies, whatever fruit that's near him, pear, mango, orange, whatever, the fruit power goes into that, and then it transforms into this. Later on, we also find very unique fruit designs from the One Piece magazines. This was Robin's Hana Hana no Mi before she ate it. It resembles a lotus flower in a lot of ways, but even in that regard, I'm pretty sure a fruit like this does not naturally exist. Tony Tony Choppers resembled a mushroom, which mushrooms exist, but this mushroom has a stem. Not something I think mushrooms typically have. This was Brooks in the shape of a skull. This was Moria's in the shape of like a corn husk sort of thing with like a black fruit in the center of it. And we're gonna get more and more fruits revealed to us in the One Piece magazine, I would assume. This was Douglas Bullett's Gasha Gasha no Mi. Fruits like this, and then the Maramara with its flames. Yeah, you could probably find fruits in real life that kind of like resemble them on like a surface level, but not really anything that resembles anything close to like the Hana Hana no Mi, like exactly, okay? So that gets me thinking that the traveling to find a specific kind of fruit idea, that's not actually how it works. I really think the way that Oda's gonna go with this is, yeah, whenever a devil fruit user dies, the nearest physical fruit is transmorgified into the new devil fruit, okay? With only a few exceptions of this, one of such being the Big Mom Mother Caramel incident, when it seems Mother Caramel was eaten alive by Charlotte Linlin when she was only 6 years old, because Mother Caramel had the Soul fruit, and because Big Mom... this was a delicious cake! Thanks, everybody! Where'd y'all go? Because, let's just assume she did eat them. The fruit was, you know, Mother Caramel died, and then the fruit, there's really nowhere else for it to go. The fruit can only exist in a vessel that's a fruit or a living being, and that living being can either be a human, giant, fishmen, as with the case with Vanderdecken, although it's not very useful for them. Animals like dogs or cats, giraffes. Have we seen a giraffe have a devil fruit? We saw a human with the power of a giraffe. We haven't seen a giraffe with the power of a devil fruit. That's probably going to come up at some point. But no, yeah. So it has to either exist in fruit form or in some kind of other living vessel. And since the living vessel was all around Mother Caramel when she died because she was inside of it, the fruit just, reincarnated directly into Big Mom. So that's one exception there. Here's something. When Doflamingo got his hands on the Marimarinomi, where'd he get that? Well, he was present at Marineford when Ace died. So, he might have been the one that's like, hey, I'm going to make sure to I'm going to have a little pocket fruit on me at any time, and then I'm going to make sure to get close to Ace, and then he dies, and whoops, oh, guess I got it, and just pocket it. There are a few things you can bring up about this, like you think the Marines, when they're executing a devil fruit user, they would know, like, all right, we want to make sure that, 2 executioners to, do the deed, and then someone else behind them holds up a fruit just to make sure it directly goes into that one, right? Or make sure you would, like in that case, I would make sure, damn sure, just take a fruit and just, when the execution is being done, press the fruit up against the person that's being executed so it immediately goes into that. There's no confusion, right? So there's some things about that, like logic the people in the One Piece world would maybe have, like, why don't you just do this instead of this whenever a fruit user is about to die? But as in the case, Doflamingo getting his hands on the Marimarinomi, and he was in the same place where Ace was when he died, and the fruit got reincarnated, that makes sense, right? Right, so that's the deal with the reincarnation of fruits. Now, more specifically, let's talk about these two. Who are you people? No, seriously, like, who are you people? Where did you come from? Why do you have these powers? Kurozumi Higurashi and Kurozumi Semimaru from the last chapter of One Piece. Both of their names referencing cicadas and locusts. Which, by the way, I was with my D&D group last night, and one of the members of my group, Kennedy, she has seen Higurashi When They Cry, and I told her about, hey, yeah, I was doing the video today, and yeah, Higurashi, I never saw it, though, but I was looking at some promotional images, and she's just like, oh, ho, 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 ho. So she was showing me clips of Higurashi, and, that's a lot more blood than I figured was from that, but, because all I had to go on was this. I was like, oh, that's an adorable little slice of life anime. She showed me a scene with a little girl with blue hair jamming a knife through her neck. I'm like, holy crap, okay. Should probably watch that at some point. Alright, so, anyway, yeah, okay, so that's Higurashi. Anyway, I think the main question on everybody's mind is not so much where they got their hands on the fruit. That's a question I do have. But I think the bigger question here is, how did these 2 fruits that exist in the land of Wano, this isolated region, end up in the hands of Mr2 Bonclay with the Mane Mane Nomi, and Bartolomeo, a street tough from Logtown with the Barrier fruit, or the Bari Nomi? How the hell does that happen, right? So, as I said in the last video, they're pretty old. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. I mean, they look pretty damn old, and they're not currently alive in the present storyline of One Piece. We know that for a fact because Mr2 and Bartolomeo do have their fruits, okay? So they're either going to die of natural causes, or maybe something happens during the attack that Odin and the Scabbards are going to do. Something happens at that particular time 20 years ago where they both die. At that point, though, Odin is also taken care of. Some of the Scabbards are detained and captured. Other Scabbards disappear into the future. And other Scabbards, like Denjiro, we have really no idea what happened to them. So Orochi kind of feels like, well, I lost 2 of my valuable retainers. I lost the person that can protect me from literally all attacks, and I lost the person that can transform into anybody to help me gain more power, but at the same time, we got rid of Odin, we got rid of the Scabbards, and I still have Kaido backing me, so Orochi became very, very paranoid for being attacked because he doesn't have that protection anymore, so that could have been a situation they got rid of them 20 years ago. Or, even if they survived that particular battle, they're very, very old. They could have just died of natural causes at some point down the line there. The question is, though, how did they get out of the hands of Wano and into these other characters' hands? Something interesting to note. Bartolomeo, we know, grew up in Logtown, because that was already explained in the current storyline. You know, that was explained how Bartolomeo became such a fanboy of Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats. He was a gang leader living in Logtown. He was present during the day that Luffy arrived there with his crew, and then Buggy tried to execute him on the platform and all that stuff, and the lightning bolt that Dragon created came down and saved him. And from that day forward, Bartolomeo saw him as like, oh, Luffy-senpai, you're so awesome! You know, so he probably grew up in Logtown his whole life. So he was raised in the East, okay? Mr2, Bonclay, Bentham, we found out recently in a Vivre card his ocean of origin. Also the East Blue. Now, we don't get to see Bentham, Mr2, Bonclay growing up in the East, but it was revealed in the Vivre card where he was from. So, I'm not saying, I'm just saying that we know that there has been, you know, ships traveling from Wano to the east before. That's already been explained, that Kozaburo Shimasuke, he left Wano about 50 years ago. Oda talked about how a long time ago, a few decades ago, I think is the actual term that Oda used. Yeah, a few decades ago, there was a ship that left Wano and ended up in the east. This also explains the connection. Now, not all the pieces are together yet. I think Denjiro plays a part in all this, but all the pieces hinge on, like, Shimosuke Village, where Zoro grew up. That being a place that was founded by people from Wano. And there's a few other characters that made it into the East that have relatives living in Wano as well. Okay, so if that might have just been a one-time thing, but at least, like, it's possible to go from Wano to the East. Like, that is something that has been capable, they are capable of doing on their own. It's illegal to travel outside of Wano, but it is something that has happened before. There's precedence for that, okay? So, I'm gonna throw out the idea here. I'm kind of grasping at straws, but I just want to know what you guys think, okay? Kozaburo Shimosuke, over 50 years ago, he leaves Wano, makes it to the East Blue. That's where he sets up the Shimosuke village, named after his family, Shimosuke. Okay, Ryuma also has connections to that, but we're not talking about him right now. We're going to make this less complicated. Koshiro, who was Zoro's master, was the child of Kozaburo. The reason I'm going with that is because Kozaburo has the kanji for 3 in his name, and Koshiro has the kanji for 4. So it's implied, you know, he's the 3rd, so Koshiro is the 4th, so it's like a family thing, and Oda likes his naming quirks. So we're assuming Koshiro was born either in the East, or at least on their way to the East, or at least he's the son of Kozaburo. Okay, alright. And so Koshiro grew up, his father eventually probably died, and then he took over the village, he started the Ishin Dojo, that's where Zoro trained, okay? Now, I have no idea how these two people could die and their fruits could get reincarnated and then accidentally end up on a merchant vessel bound for the East Blue. How you think that happened is completely up to you. Oh! 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 Hollow Knight! Do you know what this means, Hollow Knight? Hollow Knight knows what this means, guys. Okay, here's what this means. Oh, shit. We haven't seen what was up with Denjiro recently, have we? He's the only scabbard that is missing in action, okay? Many people have thrown out the idea that he was the Witching Hour boy, but that could also easily be Izo. So let's not throw that out of the, okay? Kinemon is certain that Denjiro is still alive. It's just that they haven't found him anywhere in Wano. He's probably not in Wano. If he is, he's in hiding, but even then, you'd think he would appear for this particular moment. When they're getting the army together to go and attack Kaido, you think that's when the moment that he would arrive and be like, hey guys, I've been alive the whole time. You know, yeah. What if, during the battle that we're about to get in the manga 20 years ago, when Odin and his scabbards attacked... They say they're going to go attack Kaido, but Orochi's forces might be involved in that because they're kind of connected, okay? What if, during that battle, Semimaru and Higurashi end up dying? Like, Odin and his scabbards succeeded in finishing them off, okay? But Kaido was still there. Kaido has his crew, and Kaido's a dragon. Don't know if you heard. He's wicked powerful, okay? And so they managed to, like, alright, we took out the cloning lady, and we took out the barrier dude, but then we still got decimated, and the scabbards were thrown to the wind, and then Odin got captured, and he was getting dunked in the water, okay? What if Denjiro ended up getting his hands on both the barrier fruit and the Mane Mane no Mi. And he's like, I have to get these things far, far away from Orochi. I have to get these things as far as I conceivably can from Wano, because if he gets his hands on these fruits and gives them to one of his retainers, then this is going to be all over again. He's going to have somebody with the Mane Mane, someone with the Barrier Bear. I need to get these the hell out of here. I had a theory that Denjiro is related to Koshiro. Maybe he's his long-lost brother or something, you know, they were separated at birth because they look very similar. They both wear the glasses and they have the ponytails. That was just my idea, okay? But what if, even if they're not related, what if Denjiro was like, I need to get these things the farthest I can away from Wano, and he remembers, wait, there was a merchant vessel that left Wano 50 years ago. No, it would have been like 30 years ago from the flashback. Yeah, there was, I remember hearing of a ship that left Wano like 30 years ago, and it ended up in the east. So if I go to the east, if I get out of this country and manage to make my way to the east, they might still be living there. They might know who I am, or at least know that I'm from Wano, and they might help me out here. So Denjiro takes the 2 fruits, gets out of Wano, and escapes back to the east. And then something happened, maybe something went wrong, he ends up dying, he ends up getting captured, he ends up getting stranded on an island, maybe he doesn't make it to his destination, and these 2 fruits, the Barrier and the Mane Mane, they just end up in the east. You know, in some locations. Maybe he was on a ship, and the ship gets caught in a storm, and it capsizes, and both the fruits just, oh crap, and they both end up in separate locations. One ends up in Logtown, where Bartolomeo ends up finding it one day and eating it. 20 years ago, Bartolomeo would have been 4 years old, and Boncle is 32 right now, so 20 years ago he would have been 12. Don't know where he grew up in the east, but they ended up finding the fruits at different points, and they ate them, and then they got their powers, and that's how the powers ended up in the east. Grasping at straws? Do you think it's possible? I'm trying to connect the dots here, guys. I'm trying to make this work, okay? Right? But anyway, yeah, that's my idea. I hope you go with that, or you think of some other way, because I'm trying to explain away how the fruits get into the east, and also what the hell happened to Denjiro. Because, you know, it just feels like Denjiro would have appeared by now if he could, right? I don't know what's up with that. He could still be Witching Hour Boy. I don't know. Huh. Anything to add, Hollow Knight? Barry? Anything? Alright. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was very informative, or not very, on how Devil Fruit reincarnation work and what's up with these 2. I guess we'll find out in this coming chapters if they're gonna die, and if they don't die here, I guess they just die of natural causes. But if that's the case, how did their fruits end up in the east? Let me know in a comment below. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking and Barry and Hollow Knight signing out. Later, everybody.